Greetings sailors and welcome back to part 4 of this German 1920 campaign here in 1.04. I think 1.05 is coming out reasonably soon, and I have a suspicion that will just break the campaigns. I don't think that carries over, so there's every chance I won't actually get to complete this campaign and do a full series on it, but you kind of get the idea of how this plays, and I am curious to take a poke at all the new stuff that 1.05 brings. Anyway, we have a chance to attack a convoy. Have a light cruiser and a destroyer versus a battle cruiser, so let's give this a go. We hopefully will spawn reasonably close. And yeah, hopefully I won't have too many feline interruptions. He's playing with his his toy. It's a USB stick. I don't know if you've seen that particular video, but yeah, he's got a World of Tanks USB stick that he likes to play with because it's kind of rubbery and it bounces around, and it gets knocked under the sofa on a very, very regular basis, so guess who has to then fish it out? I mean, I've got to be useful for something, right? Why am I turning north? It just specifically said it's west. We've had a convoy raid in the last one with one of these ships, and with this many 6-inch guns, yeah, it's pretty good for it. And we can also maybe peel off the destroyers separately. Have them work different sections of the convoy. Now we've already got battle cruiser things coming in. I could even, didn't I do this last time, use the destroyer to distract the battle cruiser? That might have been what I did, because a destroyer is just inherently more expendable. Can I see how many crew this thing has? Oh wait, yeah, you can, it's down there. So yeah, it's 189 crew. How have they already lost crew when we've only just... I don't know. There might be something going on there with crew replenishment or whatever. And they hadn't even taken hits yet. Oh, right, don't hit. I'll actually turn that off for now. If I can get that many torps into the broadside of a battle cruiser, that could go quite well. Potentially. So yeah, this wave of torpedoes is going to hit already sinking things. They're not particularly smart about their torpedo drops, but you have to pay attention to what they're actually focusing with their torpedoes anyway. So right, that actually has hit a already sinking thing. Well, I should turn that to safe as well. And I think we can probably get all of these guys quite easily. What are you firing at? Let's fire at that one. Yeah, this is a fairly standard mission by this point. Nothing too fancy going on here in terms of the ships involved. But if I can somehow get a battle cruiser kill out of it, that would be pretty nice. I don't want to trigger my smoke too early. These are not the fastest destroyers. Right, so yeah, definitely wreaking substantial havoc with the transports, which is unsurprising. Can we... no, it's shift. There we go. Torpedoes. I'm slowly getting the hang of which controls are which. Oh, right, that's a little painful. I'm starting to find their range a bit. If I remember correctly, last time I didn't even lose the destroyer, although it did take some damage. Right. Have you loaded a torpedo? Yes, you have. We might get to... what's the main guns again? Shift-Alt right-click. We have a torpedo going out on that one. And that did the job, yep. And then let's just focus that one, and then it's just that guy over there. Right, so that is almost all the transports done already. I don't know if you can hear the skittering around in the background, but yeah, that is Sam, if you can. And there goes that one, and then that's just that last transport. So yeah, we fully identified this yet. No. I can't even remember what caliber they're using. I can't quite visually identify the different turrets yet. That doesn't look particularly big. So 14-inch guns, okay. The 7-inch secondaries could be nasty though. Oh yeah, no, that took a hit. Where are we? Damage log. That was a 14-inch pen. Huge damage there, 443 damage. And it's actually, that's his second hit by 14-inch. So yeah, those 14-inch guns doing really nasty amounts of work. So let's... I don't know if we'll get the chance to drop torpedoes on that that battle cruiser, but we shall see. Take the speed back up a bit. The Llewellyn is not doing so well. Last of the transports. And not looking too happy about it either. 26.3 kilometres. I think we have the longer range torps. No, they're 6.3 as well. Oh, no, I'm looking at the wrong thing. Yeah, no, those are the longer range ones. 9.5 kilometres. Ah, there it goes. Did it get its torpedoes out? It did. So we've lost that destroyer, but we may land some torpedo hits on the battle cruiser, which, I mean, even if I don't sink it, damage that forces it back to port for repairs is something. Looks like they've spotted them though, really quite early. And I was saying last time that AI is always going to have the advantage when it comes to dodging the longer range torpedoes, because the AI can pay attention to everything at once, whereas as the human player you kind of can't. Anyway, let's just withdraw at this stage. If we set retreat, it'll always head away at top speed basically. Well, if the battle cruiser really wanted to chase us down, it could do. It does have the speed advantage by a good few knots. So apparently I missed one transport. We also did take a hit to the Hamburg, but nothing too bad. But yeah, that was still overall a win, but not that big of a win as it turned out. I guess if I'd gotten that transport, I don't know if you get a bonus for having completed the mission condition, which in that case was 100% of the transports. But yeah, still technically a win, just not by a very big margin. Anyway, let's go next turn, and they lost 2 transport ships this time. Convoy. Also completed construction of some light cruisers. They are actually starting to outstrip us in terms of light cruisers, but we still have the capital advantage. Maybe I could lay down a couple of more light cruisers. I mean, we have got the cash, and I know we've already got some that are... We've got a whole tranche of them underway. I mean, they're very useful, so maybe just another, like, two of those Medusa class, and we shall stick them in Wilhelmshaven, yeah. Fleet's the tab I want. There we go. That's fine. So, convoy. Is this attacking or defending? This will be attacking. 5 transports this time, so not very many, and a heavy cruiser alongside another destroyer. So, bit more substantial firepower this time. Right, spotted to the west, and I don't think my heavy cruisers have got any kind of torpedoes, do they? I don't know, is this one of the newer classes? I think this is one of the ones I designed. Was it 3-inch guns? Maybe? Anyway, we'll actually set that to off for now. We'll do the same. We'll take command of that separately. Be nice if when you're looking at the ship you could see, I don't think there's anything that tells you what class of ship it is. You just have to look at the configuration. Right, we'll start by smoking that guy up to begin with. That is an enemy destroyer, so their ships are in, ooh, hello, more of a position to better slow things down actually. Yeah, I guess they're in between me and the transports to begin with. So we're playing a bit of dodge the old torpedo, but it's definitely better to have the game of dodge the torpedo in a destroyer with its much tighter potential turning circle, although if it does go wrong, of course, it's also a lot more catastrophic. Oh, you're going to make it past that, right? Eee. No is the answer. Right, and now we need to dodge that group. And hopefully it won't flood. Right, but that's them expending a whole bunch of their torpedoes on a rather lower value target. That's one of their light cruisers. A rather antiquated hull for a 1920 design. And okay, that's one of the destroyer classes that's got like a one shot of torps, as is that. So they are both yeah, they're both not really a problem anymore. I don't think we're going to lose a destroyer to a single torpedo, but it's going to severely impair the speed just from the flooding damage it's taken. So yeah, let's hopefully get that over by the transports, and we'll maybe see if that can do something with those. I think now the torpedo threat is out of the way. So we've got 6 kilometers of torps, that's fine. Do we have armed transports at all? Yes, we do. So that's going to be more of a problem for the destroyer than anything else. No, it's Alt key. Oh, yeah, okay. It's actually taken another hit that's caused more flooding. Can we retreat that destroyer? Didn't really get a chance to do anything. Right, that flooding is being pumped out, but that shows that it only takes 1 or 2 extra hits for that to just be completely buggered. So they have a chance to... I think given if we have the choice to withdraw that, I think we'll withdraw that. We can pretty much do what we need to do with the heavy cruiser. Not too concerned. So yeah, they've pumped that out, but that's in a bit of a perilous state. I mean, it's already limited to 25 knots at best. Anyway, it was kind of a successful decoy for all of those destroyer torpedoes, though. Those ended up being largely ineffective, apart from the one torpedo that hit that destroyer. Both of these enemy destroyers are not looking so hot now. Right, I can't tell if that's perma-flooding or not, but they do both have engine damage, flooding, fires. They're not looking happy. Maybe, I mean, we'll have that draw around on a parallel course. Do we switch targets yet? I mean, they're not really my primary target. It'd be nice to sink a couple of destroyers, but they've smoked up. So let's go for the transports. They are our main objective. Just smoke up in case they decide to... Yeah, I can't remember why I went with 3-inch guns on this particularly, but, you know, fast rate of fire and against lightly armoured targets, they're still good enough. It's just, it does rather limit their range. Yeah, 5.5 kilometres is not a good range. Although smaller calibers of guns does reduce the overall target profile, the spottability. And it is possible, I've only done it on one of the scenarios, but it is possible if you have the Japanese long-range torp techs and a sufficiently low-profile ship, you could basically stealth torpedo. But you need a lot of spare torps for it to be in any way effective. Because unlike Wonder Warships, you don't just get infinite numbers of torpedoes available. Alas. I've actually lost sight of that cruiser. I think we'll just go with my plan of having that retreat. We'll circle this back round, try and take out the destroyers. Which can't really run away at this point. These heavy cruisers are not the fastest, but yeah. Doesn't really matter when your engines are completely knackered. I don't know if transport ships, at least I've never seen it happen, I don't know if they can have ammo detonations. I mean, presumably it's possible. It just occurred to me, I've never actually seen it, and you think it would be more common considering they basically have no armour. But yeah, it just occurred to me, I don't think I've ever seen that happen. Anyhow, these transports are doomed. It's definitely easier to attack transports than defend them overall. Laverock? Not sure how one pronounces that. You do quite often see warship names on transport, so I suspect there's just one ship name list and it just picks at random. So I've definitely seen warship names on transport sometimes. Like, oh yeah, there's a transport ship called the Grosser Kurfürst. Okay. Right, we could end there, but let's actually see if we can... now, is that going to be the light cruiser, or is that going to be the destroyers? Let's see if we can hunt them down. I mean, this has taken barely any damage, and I think that's mostly from those 4-inch guns. Four and 3-inch guns, so yeah, that'll be the destroyers and the transport. Smoke spotted to the east. Yes, it's flagging me something over to the northeast there. I was speculating about this in an earlier one, like, does it tell you sort of smoke directions for multiple things? And I guess it must do. Aha, see, there's... okay, there's the transport. The light cruiser. So is that destroyers down there? This does still have torpedoes, but only 6.3. However, it does have underwater torps all around the thing, which is... and we were just recording the podcast earlier and talking about the British battle cruiser line that's been announced, and it's a thing that's just never been in World of Warships up until now. It's always been above waterline launchers, and the closest things we've had have been the side-mounted launchers, the side hull-mounted, like porthole launchers, whatever you want to call them, for the Mutsu. Can we make that turn? We should be able to make that turn. Oh, do I just... Oh, have I screwed myself by being indecisive? The answer is yes, I have screwed myself by being indecisive. Well done. The captain will be going before a board of inquiry for that particular instant, I'm sure. Of completely unnecessarily taking 2 torpedoes and getting a bunch of his crew killed. So, well done. Of course, I've never ever done a similar thing in World of Warships. Yeah. So yeah, there the destroyers were over there, so it was telling me the directions for both sets of things. Right, what is our... Yeah, we have a fairly hefty damage instability penalty at the moment. Alas. I think that is a perma engine knockout. Hopefully the steering can be fixed at least. I'm not having a lot of luck hitting this light cruiser. Which is a fair bit faster than me. Well, it is now that one of my engines have been knocked out and I've got some perma-flooding to deal with. But even one hit would be nice. We've barely scratched it. Look, we've knocked out, I think, 1 gun. Really haven't done much to them. Also, as a light cruiser, that actually has a larger crew complement than my heavy cruiser, somehow. Right. It's fine. I may or may not have botched that. It's totally fine. See if we can get the destroyers at least. They should be far more helpless prey. Why on earth would we go for a fair fight when we can pick on some crippled, nearly defenseless destroyers? Well, I gave up in the end and just pressed the end battle button because I guess the destroyers had fixed their engines enough to keep ahead of me. Especially once I'd taken that damage, but yeah. Oh well, we knocked out all the transports though. Even if I did slightly then balls up the engagement with a light cruiser, but never mind. Still victory points for me. Let's have a quick check-in on research actually. How's that going? Armour quality, Pt.4 researched in 14 months. And turbo-electric drive in also 14 months. Lost a transport ship, another convoy. This time it is us that's defending. This has all just been convoys so far. Hopefully we can get some other kind of something going. Right, oh, we're way back there, okay. Also, starting out barely moving for some reason. Why would that be? I don't know. These are both the auto-generated light cruisers, that's fine. Right. That's super weird, they were just kind of stationary. I don't know if it's possible to unlink them so they're not following each other in a, you know, that's not like 2 groups, but yeah, I mean you can jam them all together so they're all in one great big group, but that actually hasn't helped, I don't think. Maybe I should not have done that. Right, they're already under fire. I think I will have just caused some confusion there. I am quite baffled as to why we started completely stationary. We're taking a little while to get up to speed as well, despite the 4 funnels. It does have a slightly funky profile, this class, because 3 of the funnels are identical, and then it's using that different style of funnel, which doesn't quite fit. Anyway, do we have any armament on our own transports? It does not look like it. I don't know if I've yet had an encounter where my own transports have armament. It just seems to be sometimes enemy transports have armament. I really don't know what governs that. Come on, go faster! Go faster, go faster. Not even at 20 knots yet. This time he's chewing through my transports, which are expensive to replace. We started with 7, so we have to save at least, what? Is it going to be 3 or 4 if it wants 50%? And it's really started us off in a very disadvantageous position for actually trying to help these transports. Yeah, I don't know if we're going to succeed here, to be honest. I don't know that we've really got a chance to. Even if I hadn't grouped up the transports, which has slightly snarled up the pathfinding. Starting so far away, stationary. Feels a little unfair, a little cruel, but hey. Not all engagements were equal, I suppose. Yeah, that's going to be transport number 4 that they sink, so yeah, that we will have failed the 50% requirement. Come on, go faster! We're only just reaching 22 knots, for crying out loud. Go faster, go faster, go faster. Does it round down? It hasn't come up and said, oh, you failed. But yeah, now we're down to 3, so maybe it did round down for the 50%. In which case this will be the one that loses us that. But I don't know if it's going to pop up and say a message of, oh, you've failed, all those poor sailors. Going to be on your conscience now. Although as far as I know, it doesn't, like your merchant marine, as it were, come from you know, some other invisible pool of sailors, or it doesn't even really, maybe the game doesn't even really think about that compared to your actual naval ships. Right, it's taken a little light damage, but 2 hits. Ramming. Did it actually bump into one of the transports? I think it must have, if there's ramming damage. But it doesn't take any flooding, so I don't know. I've sworn ramming damage always causes flooding, but maybe I'm wrong about that. That transport is just barely hanging on. Completely boned, to use the technical term. I've actually lost sight of them, but they still have... They're still able to see our transport. Right, I think they've lost sight. Somehow, miraculously, the York has not sunk. Although it might still go down if they can't put the fires out. That will deplete the structural integrity, or whatever you want to call it, of the ship. But yeah, that is just by the absolute slenderest thread right now. I guess their spotting is better than ours. So why did you slow down so much? I'll put torps on. Actually, we'll turn torps. We'll turn torps off. I don't want them to accidentally drop torps that then. Oh, there we go. It's on. That hit our own allies. Also, yes, we've definitely failed the 50% condition at this stage. With 2 versus 1, we should at least in theory be able to put down this cruiser. But I suspect they're going to get to feast on my transports as much as I got to feast on theirs. Oh, flooding. I'm going to watch out about getting too close. Let's put torps back on. Bow torpedo tube off. Do not want to get too close. If we can take them out with flooding, that would be jolly useful. I've actually done a lot of hull damage so far. Right, that torp was towards the transports. We've got 1 transport left. Oh dear. I don't think that that torpedo is going to hit unless they completely muff up there. Which they might be doing. Okay, I'm glad to see the AI is capable of that as much as I am. Right, hard turn. Ah, nice, we got them. Okay, we saved 1 transport. Oh dear, I think they might walk away with more victory points there. No, apparently we did. Even though they sank most of our transport. I don't quite get that. I mean, we lost more crew. It does count the ships as having crew, even if they don't come out of your naval crew pool. I don't know. I absolutely don't know what the maths is on that one, but sure. November 1920. Okay, another convoy. That's going to be a raid, but let's go for the battle. That looks like an actual proper... So what have we got? 2 battleships and a battle cruiser versus 3 battleships. And I've got... Which side's got heavy cruiser? They've got 2 CLs and a DD, and we've got 3 CLs. They have the larger tonnage of ships there. In terms of battleships. Well, in terms of everything, actually. Let's go for that. This might be the last fight of the episode. Because, you know, yet another convoy mission. We've kind of seen plenty of that already. Right, so how are we set up? Battle cruiser is set to follow the battleships. That does have 4.5 torps. Our battleships don't. We might want the battle cruiser to operate separately just because it's rather faster. 8.8 inch main belt. I mean, it's not particularly well protected, and they are set to screen that main group. Okay. I think we will have the battle cruiser operate independently, but we'll leave the rest for now. I guess we can set the screen to dodge. try and manage this as best I can. So this might be a bit of a heavy fight. It's that one, that's my battle cruiser. So at least my battleships at least have you know, 15-inch guns is pretty decent. But if I'd been designing these ships to start with 12 barrels, I think I'd have probably gone with 14-inch at most for this era. 15-inch might well be a bit of overkill. Right, so hopefully they will spot things first. I think the battle cruiser might actually be my fastest ship. It is. It's actually faster than my my light cruisers. Right, so starting actually off with let's try AP. 15-inch AP. We'll do some interesting things to these ships. There's the destroyers. Which, if it's the ones that we've seen most often, we'll have one lot of torpedoes they'll put out, and that will be it. That's their one lone destroyer. Right, let's actually turn it the other way a bit, maybe. I don't know what offhand what it actually does show me. I think this will be what, 9.3. Oh, the 6.1. Actually closer than I thought. You're solely focusing on that guy right now, and I don't know if that's the best use of this. Let's have you fire at that. That's going to be that's their other battleship, or one of their other battleships. They do have 3 of them. Let's not forget. I absolutely don't want to get the Crown Prince too close, not with its 8.8 inches of belt armour. Although we don't particularly want to get these terribly close either. I mean, yeah, I have actually realised how bad the armour is on these. It's only 9 inches. It's only barely better. There is 0 armour anywhere else apart from 1.4 inches in the conning tower, and then the 13.5 is actually the turrets. Yeah, these things are as bad as the battle cruisers. In fact, the battle cruiser might actually be better armoured overall. Yeah, it is. So even though it's got a 0.2 inch better belt, wow, those are super squashy battleships. Okay. I think that's the first time properly realising quite how badly armoured they are. Right, there's the torps. They're out of torps as well. And do they even have... what are their bulkheads like? Like, they've actually got a not bad list of, things like Citadel 4, Anti-Flood 2. They've actually got reinforced bulkheads. Crop 3 armour. But I don't know what their overall bulkhead state is. So yeah, we have to be quite careful with these guys. That's going to be a cruiser, yeah, light cruiser. Right, what was it? Shift Alt? Can't even remember now. Shift Alt right click, yes, let's put main guns on that light cruiser and secondaries can continue to pepper that guy. And he's just gonna be doing some fire from the flank. Use that maneuverability to harass them a bit. These also have 15-inch guns, so yeah, they're not to be sniffed at. Let's see if they're... Hopefully their armour is as horrendous as mine, but no, I should not be that lucky. Not even a little bit. It's a much more sensible arrangement. Right, that's taken a little bit of damage. My light cruisers are fine so far. I don't know if we want to peel them off. Probably not just yet. Oh, that's a heavy cruiser, not the light cruiser. We do have side-mounted torps. Okay, 9-inch guns. Which we know from experience are more than enough to kill one of my battleships with their absolutely awful armour scheme. That's their destroyer down. That's in range of the 8-inch secondaries. Terrible looking design, the battle cruisers. Don't have a great solution on that cruiser. Berwick, okay. Very, very contested town in its time. Which, for those of you who are unaware, it's basically right on the border between England and Scotland and changed hands over the centuries. I can't even remember, something like 9 or 10 times? Going back and forth between the kingdoms of Scotland and England. Which, it wasn't just for funsies, it was a fairly strategic, like it was a fairly importantly placed town in terms of its location, so yeah, it wasn't just that everybody really liked holidaying in Berwick upon Tweed. Actually, let's maybe peel off the battlecruiser the other way. So let's take a bit of attention, but nothing too serious. Hopefully its speed will keep it from the worst of the potential damage from those battleships. It's really the only thing I've got that can overtake or even slightly keep pace with the enemy battleships. Or the enemy fleet overall, because they're just slightly faster than my battleships. 22.5, I've got 21.3. What was it they had? Was it 1 light cruiser or 2 light cruisers? I guess it's 2 light cruisers because there's 2 unknown warships there. Right, secondaries can go on that. In fact, let's put everything on that one. Charging light cruiser. Ooh, what was that? That was 15-inch hit, which has damaged an engine and caused flooding, unfortunately. Yeah, it really... This is not a ship in a position to take too much punishment. It's got reinforced bulkheads too. Does have radio direction finding apparently, which is okay. Kind of useful if they get out of sight, perhaps. I would quite like to get some of my newer ships online, and the ones I actually designed of the capital ships, and see how they fare compared to the auto-generated ones. Oh, I sometimes forget which of the WASD keys I've actually got my fingers on. Right. Oh, we haven't really managed any particularly big hits there yet, have we? Some partial pens. I mean, it's not that well armoured, surely? No, absolutely not. I wouldn't even have said that well angled. Right. Oh no, it took a torpedo! I didn't even see those. It must have been from the cruiser. Dang it! Oh well. I think that's a permanent engine loss there. Man, that's annoying. Okay. This cruiser is under an awful lot of fire for not a lot of effect, it feels like. Oh man. Any of that going to be recoverable flooding? Probably not, especially not when it took a torp into that same section. It's also down to not a particularly great amount of structural health. So, oh well. We haven't lost any ships yet, but it's kind of painful to take that damage on a battle cruiser. Now, a lesson learned multiple times over at this stage: design your own ships, because the auto-designed ships can be a bit too far on the funky side of things. Right, now you're starting to take a bit more damage. I really do have to watch out for torpedoes. I'm actually going to put on the ridiculous auto dance, whatever one wants to call it, the avoidance thing. Right, torps out. Let's change direction. Hopefully everyone else will get out of the way as well. That's their last torpedo, so that's fine. Oh wait, I should take some fire control damage. That's not so good. That's going to impact our ability to actually hit stuff. I mean, when you think about it, this armour scheme is about as extreme with all or nothing as it gets. But I don't think that's even all or nothing. What is it, Citadel 4? Isn't that Turtleback? I honestly can't remember. Right, we can turn that off for now. That was one of the only 15 inches. Wow, we're so close. How can you possibly be missing this much at this range? So probably angle the battle cruiser back around into the fray. Well, not back into the fray, but just so it's not wandering off into the distance. Don't think it's going to be particularly accurate with the amount of damage it's taken. But you never know. Might score a lucky hit. Man, this is so much so much ammunition being fired off for so little effect. I wish you could see a potential damage marker in this game like you can in World of Warships. So I think it would be getting a little bit ridiculous for the Beric by this point. I've actually taken some rear section damage. What was that? Probably a 15-inch... Oh, you took a torpedo! How did you take a torpedo? We specifically had you on torpedo avoidance. And you still took a torpedo. Well done. Okay. Never mind. So much for that then. Well, that is a bow flooding. The battleships, the enemy battleships, are just getting further and further away. We might not get a chance to engage them, but having sunk some of their ships and not lost any of mine, I mean, even if it ends up being that their capital units and those light cruisers can disengage, I will still have more victory points in terms of actually having sunk some of their ships. Seriously though, goodness sake, sink this heavy cruiser, please. So it feels like it's doing more damage to my battleship than I'm doing to it, but given the state of the armour scheme on this rather absurd thing, yeah, maybe that's not too surprising. But they are taking on some flooding at least. Wow. Big blast of guns and it was 10 damage. Oh well. Lost a funnel. Which I think if a funnel gets destroyed, if I'm remembering correctly, that actually affects accuracy as well, because suddenly you've got smoke spewing everywhere. Actually lost their lock on us. What's absurd though is we're this close and we still only have a 30% chance to hit. 3 barrels turret tech plus the crew training is almost another 20%. Yeah. Ouch. The triple barrels just aren't really worth it at this tech level. There's not enough to offset them really. They can be point blank range and still only have a 36% chance of hitting. Whereas their battleships are wreaking more havoc than mine are. Come on, sink! Sink, you bugger! 58%, 38%. I am not impressed. Very not impressed. They got like super good damage control. They've got regular crew training versus my green or cadet or whatever it is, so that's definitely going to be helping them. Reinforced bulkheads 2, Citadel 4. Oh, I actually have to have the ship selected. Maybe they've got overall a high number of bulkheads, I don't know. I still haven't figured out how you get the crew training levels up. Like, do you just have to spend more on crew training, or does that just increase your crew overall, like your crew pool available for replenishment and new ships? Because it kind of seems like the latter rather than the former. Come on! Come on, just sink. I don't think there's any way we're catching up with their battleships. They're just rapidly steaming away. Well, not rapidly, but they are steaming away from us. Yeah, I think that's rather ineffectually pew-pewing. We do want the turn off torpedoes there, actually. We don't want to torpedo our own battleships. That would be embarrassing. Right, shall we begin the process of turning away? We could practically send over a boarding party at this range. And yes, we are actually absorbing hits from our own ships, which we probably don't want to do. So yeah, right. That was the first properly good meaty hit. That was over 1,000 damage right there. At last, it's going to sink. Right, well, this has ended up being a bit of an indecisive engagement, but mostly because the battleships I have kind of suck. Overgunned and under-armoured to a somewhat ridiculous degree. Right, surely that's it. Surely it's now going to flood out. Surely. Yeah, there we go. Right, shall we see if we can just sail away at this point? Because we took so much damage just trying to sink one heavy cruiser. I think we might want to. I think we might want to call it a day there. Because there's no way I wouldn't lose at least one, if not both, of these battleships versus their still 3 fully healthy battleships, which actually have some armour, because for some insane reason the German designers, well, the AI decided, yeah, let's make a battleship that's literally all or nothing. Right, so that was, I think, technically a win, in that we sank 2 of their ships, caused them to lose more crew, far more victory points, but that, I mean, it's only 2 ships. That feels like a weird amount of victory points for that many ships. But the AGL was heavily damaged. Oh, we can actually see there if we click on it. Heimdall class, okay. I don't know if it necessarily tells you that in game, in the actual battle somehow, and you can at least see at the end screen. So yes, that was a victory, but oh boy. Anyway, I think I will wrap up the recording there, rather than show you yet another convoy raid. And yeah, you can leave all your various comments and things down below, and I'm interested to see what people think of the extreme all-or-nothing battleship, because that was a bit of a surprise to realise it was that bad. So yes, you can do all the usual things down underneath the video, and of course, as always, stay tuned for more.